All right. This might be working.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Whatever it is, it's super dark.
Well, that's how it goes. Anyway.
We're out of town.
We're very much out of town. This will be about as good as when we were doing a live stream on the cruise. So
Yeah, we'll see. Looks like a notification happened. Like we're on.
All right. So you want to introduce us, Miriam?
Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm Miriam, co-founder and COO of Keto Chow.
I'm Chris, also a co-founder, president, and the technical guy behind Keto Chow.
In the dark.
In the dark. If you're brand new to Keto Chow, it's a nutritionally complete meal designed to make doing keto easy. We also have some electrolyte supplements that are amazing for everyday use and for keeping the dreaded keto flu away, especially while you are
on vacation.
On vacation and scuba diving. And strangely enough, even though there's a lot of water around when you're scuba diving, you still very much get dehydrated.
Yeah. And there's even salt water.
Yeah. Then you say, be sure to subscribe.
Oh, I'm sure. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the little bell icon for updates on all our Keto Chow happenings. Thanks so much for joining us on our keto journey.
Indeed. So it might be super buffery, and I'm sorry about that. We're they have fairly good Wi-Fi here, but it's also only works in one place,
which is like
where we're sitting
over there.
Yeah. Well, it's because all of the houses here are built out of cement and cinder block.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool, though.
So welcome everybody. Our normal Tuesday night. It is 15 minutes late because we went out to dinner.
It was delicious
with the group that we're doing scuba diving with. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to go to a kind of fancy restaurant.
Yeah, so we went to a fancy restaurant and Chris got a burger.
Sebastian's. I totally got a burger. Well, okay, so you're out, you're eating at places, and it's like, well, I know I can have that. There was also the option of a steak.
Yes.
I wasn't sure how it was going to be cooked, and they always throw weird stuff in there, like a sweet potato puree.
And you know what? We are pretty used to getting things keto-fied wherever we go when we're home. Mm-hmm. But this place here, they're not used to us.
Nope.
So when he said no bun for his burger, they're like,
lost their mind.
No, what? No bread? No bun? Where? Are you sure?
And I said I didn't want the fries, but they brought them anyway. And I just passed them down the table. And it's so funny because everybody was tired and everybody was hungry. Those fries were gone. It was pretty
They were plated really pretty, though. They were in this cute little bowl.
The presentation and everything was fantastic.
Everything was really pretty.
Let's say hi to people. We got Christy Davis here and Storm Chasing Gals. There you are.
I'm so sorry we were late.
I was actually surprised it worked. It did. We're actually streaming using my phone.
Yes, it's magical.
And then the computer's being used. I was trying to have the phone be the webcam for the computer. Mm-hmm. It wasn't going to work. Yes, also, stuff is absurdly large when you get too close to the thing. Anyway, Jennifer is here. So is Dennis. Patricia says, "I'm glad you're doing this tonight. Thank you." Mm-hmm. Kim is here. So is Teal. Lori says, "Hi from Vancouver Island," saying hi from Southern Alberta.
Oh, hi.
Steve says hello from Florida. We see you and hear you fine. Nice. Marianne is here. So is Christy. And Storm Chasing Gal wants a diving video. We're putting one together. Miriam said,
"I'm going to try not to make it boring this time."
It's going to be heavier on the what we ate.
Yes.
And then we will have the what we did as small snippets. But then also there will be a standalone video. If you want to watch that, you will be able to. But yeah.
Okay. But the highlight of my trip. Okay. The food highlight of my trip.
I'll just get them.
Thank you. They're so cute. I'm so excited. Okay, so we are. Did we say where we are?
Okay, so we did it.
Okay, so
in just above South America, you have Aruba, Curacao. I'm not sure how do you pronounce that. It's like Curacao, and right next to it is Bonaire. It's the ABC Islands.
Oh, okay.
And Bonaire
is owned by the Netherlands.
Yes.
By the Dutch.
It's like the diving capital of the world.
It is.
So
very good dive.
We have had the most awesome experience at the grocery store because everything is in Dutch. There is some things in English, but everybody speaks English and Spanish and Dutch and another language that I don't know what it is called. Something else. So there's lots of, I mean, for a foreign trip, we're pretty spoiled that everybody's speaking our language.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is what we found at the store, and it's so cute.
So
this is liverwurst, and I thought, oh, that was so cute. I bought it, and then I found these that are baby liverwurst.
They come in a bag.
They're so cute. I'm dying.
Smear liverwurst.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it. So I've been just eating these as a snack. And with my
snacks
meals.
go, it's pretty good.
And yes, I know liverwurst has a little bit of carbs, but
it does.
We are really
liver has a bit of carbs.
We are really working hard. We're working our butts off out there swimming.
Well,
every morning we wake up. Oh, what muscle does not hurt? I don't know.
We woke up this morning and it was. We were both very sore, and a bunch of people in our group.
Yeah.
We're like, let's go out early in the morning. And it's like, we're gonna sleep in.
We slept a little bit because our dive wasn't until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So we took the morning off and chilled out.
All right. Jennifer says, thanks for taking time from your vacation for us. Sharon's here from Salt Lake.
Nice.
Suzanne. I apparently should put on
your glasses.
Oh, I can see so much better now.
I can see clearly now.
Maria says, good to see you. B-Dog is here. Jacqueline says, newbie replay. Okay.
Hey, Jacqueline.
Storm Chasing Gal says the lemon meringue and original vanilla is really good.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you like it.
I've also been handing out SALTT.
Yeah.
Because
we should really get SALTT into dive shops because it is the most exhausting thing.
Well, it's so funny because you're literally got salty water all over the place, but you don't want that salty water in your mouth.
Yeah.
But it has been really, really nice to have those electrolytes available. Mm-hmm. I've been reusing an empty Coke bottle, and Miriam's been using her Stanley mug.
So much cuter than your bottle.
She's so bougie.
Mm-hmm. Also, you can put ice in it.
You can put ice
all day.
Now let's talk about the humidity. Where we are sitting right now. So right here is a boiler behind that door.
Oh yes, behind that door.
Sometime last night, that boiler broke and started leaking
everywhere.
And this morning there was it was only about a half an inch of water.
Yeah, covering the floor
everywhere
all
in here.
Over.
So we contacted the front desk people, and they're like, "Oh, I think we know what that is. We're so sorry." They came and cleaned it up. They fixed it.
So nice.
But
we were worried that they were going to have to move us, and I was so glad
it's been very humid in here. And one funny thing about Miriam's, because it has the ice in here, every time we go out, it gets condensation around here. It's very humid here. And coming from Utah,
I know
we're not used to the humidity. We are such babies. Anyway, Cindy says, "Wow, culture shock."
Yeah.
Suzanne went to Aruba for the honeymoon back in the early 90s.
I love that.
Shy Gal says, "Nice to see you. I have a question. How much potassium am I able to absorb with salt?" So if you're talking about the SALTT, I suspect that here's the cool thing about about electrolytes in general.
Right.
Your body knows how to handle them extremely well, and it will absorb as much as it needs. And the rest will either come out in your urine or your feces, or you will sweat it out.
Right.
It's actually extremely difficult to get too much. If you do get too much, you'll end up with diarrhea, which is your body's way of just correcting it. Anyway, that's why I would say it's very hard to go overboard on electrolytes, and it's super easy to err on the side of caution and just get a lot. With SALTT, we have, I think it's 400 milligrams of potassium per serving.
Why don't you have it memorized, Chris?
Oh, I've got some in my pocket, right? Nope, I handed it all out.
Well, thank you for that.
Gave it all out at dinner. There's some over there.
You want me to get it?
Sure. You didn't see it. I just pointed with my lips.
Yeah, you're weird.
It's an affectation I totally picked up when I lived in South America.
Okay, so yeah, 418 milligrams of potassium, 178 milligrams of magnesium, and 969 of sodium. So there you go.
You want to talk about food now?
Almost. We're almost caught up on. Jared Murphy likes my shirt. Thank you. I made it myself.
Yeah,
It's got a little salty logo on the corner. A little salty logo right here.
Salty.
Anyway, this is it actually fades to like a dark, well, it's the same color. So it's like a sunset color.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So amazing.
Oh, Janice got a vibration plate today.
You did? Oh my gosh, tell me how you like it. What do you
Reese's
think?
awesome snack liverwurst. The funny thing was when I saw these, I was like, oh, Miriam's going to want those.
I do.
She is going to want those so much.
I don't think I've ever eaten so much liverwurst in my life.
It's actually kind of hilarious. Jacqueline says, I thought it was canceled, but I caught it live.
They're so cute.
Shy Gal says, yes. Barb says, I would rather wash windows than have humidity. Yuck.
Yeah. But we're on an island and you literally walk 2 steps and you're in the water.
Well, and it's interesting. This island has, speaking of salt, a varied history with salt production.
Oh, yeah.
Currently, Cargill, which is an ingredient supplier, produces.
That's why I recognize
That's why you recognize the name. They produce sea salt here because you get a consistent breeze across the island. It hardly ever rains.
Yes.
It's
out of the path of hurricanes.
And it's out of the path of hurricanes. It's like perfect conditions for making sea salt. So the southern half of the island is just all these big,
just covered in salt ponds.
These giant salt ponds.
And they're pink.
Well, because they turn pink as the salinity changes.
Yeah.
You have bacteria that grows and then dies.
Yeah.
When it gets too saline.
It's crazy.
But there is a dive spot. They call it the Salt Pier.
Yes.
And a big ship will pull up and it takes 2 days to load it up with salt. And they have giant piles of salt over there. Unfortunately, some of the video, there's a lot of the stuff that we're talking about that we won't be able to get video of because when we go diving, the recommendation of the people was don't have anything in your car.
Right.
Leave the windows rolled down.
Driving to the dive spot.
Yeah, we're driving to the dive spot.
A lot of them are right here, but a lot of them are all over the island.
Yeah, they said windows rolled down, car unlocked, so that people won't break the windows to steal nothing.
Yeah. So they'll just open the door, see that there's nothing in there, and then leave.
Yep. Which means you can only bring the stuff that's going to be going underwater
Which
with
means
you.
Your phone is not going underwater.
There's no phone. There's nothing.
So we haven't taken pictures because we have never had our phones with us.
I do have a dive camera that we're taking with us that we've been getting some stuff with. But anyway, so there's at the southern end of the island where we were going diving, there's these giant piles of salt that they are getting ready to load onto the boat.
You know what's funny? It looks like home.
Oh, yeah,
there are giant piles of salt in Utah, too.
That's true. And where we went diving, our very first dive was the Salt Pier, where the ships come up and they load for 2 days.
It's really cool.
You can't go diving there if there's a ship.
Yeah.
But there wasn't. And we want to go back.
Hopefully we can do that. Let's try.
Let's see. Oh, Shy Gal says I got sick for a week and my potassium got low.
Oh, that's scary.
That can't happen. It's starts with a K. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
I also don't know what it is.
Sarah G is here.
Hi, Sarah.
Shy Gal says I'm all salted up to get back. There you go. Lynette is here. And Neely is here.
Hi, Neely.
We've been planning some fun stuff with Neely and Lindsay. And Jared, you can come along too. But Lindsay and Neely are going to be speaking at the meetup that we're doing. Yeah, the meetup that we're doing on the 18th.
Is it the 18th?
The 18th of May.
18th.
It's less than a month away.
Wow.
Fun fact, I have not known what date it is for the last 3 days. I have no clue because we don't have our phones with us. We don't have watches.
We don't have watches.
We do have
I have
very fancy watches.
Yeah, they do have time on that, but it fits in a bag. So funny. I've been walking around an island in my swimming suit all week.
There we go. See?
It's really weird. That's
Fancy watch.
Backwards.
And it says I've been at the surface for 3 hours and 44
Good
minutes.
job. Way to go.
Wow. And my maximum operating depth is 116 feet because we're using enriched air that has more oxygen than normal.
Everybody wants to know that. So speaking of my dinner, you guys all want to hear, I had the trio, what was it called?
Let's be honest. She had scallops for dinner and fish. Yes! It was 3 different local fish.
I was trying to figure out the name of it. It was so nice. The something trio.
Yeah, and it was barracuda.
I had barracuda, red snapper, and the one I can't remember.
I don't remember what it was either.
I don't know.
But
it was delicious.
Mm-hmm. And then one of the options on the menu was steak, and there was an option to add shrimp or scallops or lobster. And Miriam's like, can we just add
Can I just add scallops to whatever I'm ordering?
I actually got, well, you had originally told me to add scallops to mine.
Yes.
And they were going to be for you.
And then I decided just to add them to mine too.
And the lady's like, oh, hypokalemia. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
The lady was like, how many scallops did you want?
I'm like, is there a limit?
And she's like, well, they're $4 a piece.
Oh, fine.
Oh, another fun fact. The official monetary, everything here is in US dollars.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome.
And I think it's because it's like, well, it's away from the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
And the official language is Dutch, but if we're going to use money, we might as well just use US dollars.
Which doesn't make sense.
It's weird.
A lot of things don't make sense here, but it's really cool.
Jared says, how is it that you guys end up in a nicer place than I'm in? I'm in NOLA for a few days. That's awesome. Reese says, I'm still trying to use up my other electrolytes so I can get more salty.
Hey,
nice.
Good job using up the other stuff though.
Rush says, Barracuda, a song by Harper.
Right. So we saw a barracuda.
Hearing that song over and over.
We saw one in real life in front of a shipwreck while we were diving.
What are those big fish that we keep seeing?
Tarpon.
Tarpon. Those things are freaking
I don't know how to say it, but it's TARPON.
Yeah,
but we have seen them multiple times, and they're bigger than we are. They are very big fish.
Reese says, Barracuda, song in my head. There you go. Rush is way better than Mamma Mia.
Yeah, Barracuda.
That's not how it goes.
Ooh,
Barracuda. Cynthia says, yeah, money, but it's Dutch. That's weird. Yeah, U.S. money.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so funny because, again, the official language is Dutch, and then you have a lot of people who came from South America.
So we've got a lot of people speak
Spanish. And so I think it's everybody came together at English.
Yeah.
They either speak Dutch and English or they speak Spanish and English.
Yeah. I don't know how many of them speak all. I'm sure lots of them speak all 3.
Yeah, probably. Oh, probably a lot of the Dutch people speak all 3. I don't know.
But it's been really fun.
There's also a mixture language, but it's something.
Oh yeah, we said that already.
Yeah.
One thing that's really cool at the supermarket that we went to, because we have all these like divers, the whole island is for like tourists, right? So you have divers everywhere. Yeah. You have I can't think of the
kite surfing.
Kite surfing. Mm-hmm. And then what was the other thing they said?
I don't remember.
Oh, something else that was hard. So it's like these extreme sports.
But most people come here for this.
They mostly come here for diving because the whole entire island is just surrounded by reef.
Yeah, well, the whole west side of the island. You have a constant breeze and waves coming from the east to the west.
Yeah.
And so
we're on this one side of the island, and there's just reef everywhere.
Yeah, we're in Bonaire, exposing darkness.
Yes.
It's down by Aruba. It's just north of Venezuela at the top of South America.
Yes. But my point is, at the supermarket, they're expecting people to come and stay for a little bit of time. So they have all these individual servings of things. So like these little guys, they had little tiny prosciutto wrapped in, or cheese wrapped in prosciutto. They have little tiny packages of cheese. They have little tiny packages of all the things. And granted, they have lots of carbs for all the carb people, but they had a ton of meat.
Lots of like salamis and sausages
and
it's been a good trip as far as
like getting keto options.
And we haven't been snacking because we've been
in the water.
Yeah.
You can't eat in the water.
They after one of the dives on the boat, they did come around. They're like, fruit. I'm like, no, thank you.
We don't.
They're like,
fruit.
You don't want fruit? It's
yeah,
like,
we don't
no.
want fruit.
And I had one of my empty Coca-Cola bottles, proudly serving Kokomo and Bonaire.
Oh yeah, it says that right there.
It does say that right there. Must have been bottled locally-ish. Anyway, so I've been using those to fill up with SALTT.
Yeah.
And so we just drank that in between our dives.
It was awesome.
So Cynthia says, okay, English and Spanish is Spanglish. What is Dutch and English? I don't know, Danglish? In the middle of the forest is Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, okay, that song, Kokomo, came out when I was in 6th grade, in case you're wondering.
Wow,
I just dated myself. All of the moms in the carpool would listen to the same radio station that would play that song non-stop. There was one time I remember on the way to school, they played that song 3 times.
That's a baby.
And I was over that song. I was done.
He's still done with that song.
Neely had a good question. Said Levi is watching with me and asking if you guys are vegan.
Levi, we are not.
We are not. We're almost the exact opposite.
We eat a lot of meat and keto chow.
Yep.
And we have some butter. We eat butter.
Also, I know this is going to throw you for a loop, man, but lately we've been eating a lot of eggs.
I am in love with eggs. They're
because
my favorite thing.
Here at the place, there's a breakfast buffet that's included.
So awesome.
Lots of eggs, lots of sausage, lots of bacon. Their way of cooking bacon is they take the package of bacon and stick that right on the grill and just cook it as a big
it's so
pile.
It's a great big pile of bacon.
I think that might be referred to as a rasher of bacon, but I'm not sure.
He's just making
any people who've been to England and know what a rasher of bacon, let me know. I think that's what that's a reference to.
Otherwise, you just,
But it's been interesting to have just a big pile of bacon that you can pull apart. And it's very well cooked.
Look at my shirt. It says Bonaire shirt.
Bonaire.
You can't read it.
Yeah. And everyone's singing Kokomo.
Yeah.
Supposing Narcissus says, sounds cool. Reese is late, but better than not showing up. Welcome.
Hey,
and for us, it's pretty late. We're
on Eastern.
We're actually in Atlantic Standard Time,
whatever that means,
which is the same as Eastern Daylight Time. So it's an hour ahead of Eastern Standard Time, but for part of the year, it's the same time zone. I guess all of the islands in the Atlantic just say, you know what?
Sounds good.
We're just going to declare bankruptcy, and it's one time zone. Mike says, I dated myself once. I did not get a second date.
That's funny.
Okay. Thank you, Jared. It's Curacao. Curacao. Because the C has the little, makes us Curacao. Thank you.
We learned something.
Yeah, and Jennifer says papiamento. Yes,
that's it. But when we can't understand people, we just assume that they're speaking one of the language we don't know.
And they know English. Everybody we've run into, it's
and everybody's
weird.
Been so kind here. It's been great.
In the middle of the forest says, I love eggs. So does Miriam. She would marry him if she could.
I totally.
Supposing Darkson says Keto Chow is why I'm not carnivore.
That's kind of what we're.
Okay, Gail says a rasher of bacon is a slice. I thought it was a bunch of bacon.
No, you were just making it up.
Okay, Rush says a rasher is just a slice of bacon, of English style bacon. American bacon is called streaky bacon. Really? Okay. Well, so the way that they're cooking bacon here, if you've ever been on a cruise, it's the same way they cook it there, which is it's like mashed together, and I don't know, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Teresa says, where are we? We are just north of Venezuela.
On an island in the sea.
On an island in the sea. Nancy says hello from Rochester, New York, where it's cold and rainy and maybe snow tomorrow. Hopefully I can visit summer and see you, dear friend.
I would love it if you came.
So,
That'd be so amazing.
this thing, the dive computers that we use to tell, there we go.
So Daisy.
That we use to tell like how long we've been down and if we need to stop and what our depth is and all that stuff. It also keeps track of a bunch of fun stuff like what the water temperature is.
Yeah.
And as we go down and up and down and up, like for instance, today it said that the maximum water temperature was 85 degrees and the minimum water temperature was 83 degrees.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
So that's when we're like 70 feet down.
Yeah. And no underwater.
It's like, I mean, the water here is great, and we are wearing wetsuits when we're down there. A couple of people in our group aren't wearing wetsuits.
And they've been totally fine.
But we also keep ending up with like stings on our hands because there's like
no
little
gloves
jellyfish floating around.
No gloves.
And well, they don't want you to wear gloves because they don't want people touching things and ruining stuff.
I didn't touch any fish on purpose.
Bonaire has actually declared that the entire ocean surrounding it is a national park. So you have to pay an entrance fee to get in the water, which is fine. It covers you for a year.
We can come back again.
We can come back within a year and we don't have to pay that $35. But one of the rules is you can't take anything, not a shell, not a twig, nothing. You cannot remove anything from the water other than whatever water is in your clothes. But you also cannot wear gloves because they don't want you touching anything. They're like, if you don't wear gloves, you won't touch stuff. And granted, you're right.
Just like if you don't get carbs on your plate, you won't eat it.
You won't eat the carbs if you don't get them on your plate. But I kind of want to know, you know how when it's really cold and they're playing a football game, the quarterbacks will put their hands in the little mufflers to keep their hands warm. I want one of those for my dive setup so that if I can't wear gloves, I can just jam them into this thing. Anyway, so it's been consistently 90 degrees Fahrenheit here.
Yeah.
Although everything's in Celsius.
That's true.
Anyway, Risa says I love eggs as well. Eat 2 every day or so.
I would eat like 10 eggs a day.
Exposing Darkness says, is this a business trip or just for fun? Yes. Depends on the answer that I'm giving. Do you want to hear the answer I'm giving the IRS, or do you want the?
It is a fun trip.
It is a fun trip, but we are definitely doing business. We talked to a bunch of people about Keto Chow today.
And SALTT.
And SALTT. And we got a bunch of photos of SALTT in action on a dive boat. That's actually one of the things that we've been talking about lately, is having authentic pictures of like SALTT in action. So if you have a like picture of snowboards, you would want to have the right bindings, you would want to have the right gear. And well, for scuba diving, we actually have all the right gear. So I'm like, that's the one time we actually had our phone was on the boat.
Yes.
Because Miriam has a cool
dry bag.
She has a cool dry bag.
It's pink. And
so we were able to bring our phones, so I was able to take some photos of SALTT in action. It's like there with our water.
And actually, I love it. It's just, I have went diving with electrolytes and without electrolytes, and I'm telling you,
just drinking water is not the same.
The electrolytes, it just makes such a difference. It's nice not to have a headache at the end of the day because you're so dehydrated.
Yeah,
it just takes so much energy. Crazy.
Teresa says, I want to come diving. Last time I went in September, I got water in my inner ear for a month. Couldn't hear as well.
I'm sorry.
Well, the funny thing is, so we're only a couple days into our trip already. Don't you have a computer by your computer? And so as far as dives go, sorry, the logbook.
He's talking about this.
So Here are all the dives that we've done since we got here.
Oh, 10 dives.
Which are,
And
scroll,
I don't think it's going
to. We've done more dives this week than we did in all of 2023.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
And more than we did in 2022.
Well, it's great.
So that includes our dives that we did to get certified.
But I do also feel like I owe keto for me being brave enough to even do diving in the first place. Because if it wasn't for our journey, our keto journey, we wouldn't have met the people we met.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have wanted to hang out.
Jared, who wants to be a SALTT photo model.
Yeah, he does. Take a picture of SALTT on your airplane and then send it to us and we'll put it in a story.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that your wife is participating in our affiliate program where we have people post stuff, and you should check with her. She's really smart. Anyway,
so
we're talking about keto journey, doing
because I'm afraid of water. Did you guys know that? I'm afraid of water. I've always been afraid of water because I didn't really do swimming lessons when I was young, and then I was always afraid. And then when I had kids, all my nightmares were them drowning. Like that's
the worst
ever. So it was really took a lot of bravery for me to go through the classes, and I thought he wanted to do it, so I pushed myself to do it. But really, it was kind of me pushing him, which doesn't make sense either.
Yeah. Well, we were kind of doing it because Steve wanted to do it.
Yeah, but we did it because we thought Joe would want to do it. So then.
But now Joe and Rachel do it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they live in a prime diving location.
Our place is like nothing. There's some lakes, but there are not very many currents in the lakes.
That is true.
Whereas the ocean is much more unpredictable.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, when you get into the water for a dive, the surface is usually going all over the place.
Crazy.
You get 5 feet down, and it's a different world.
A lot of times it's calm.
Yeah, well, here where we're at, we haven't had any currents.
Such a nice.
It's been amazing.
It's been so.
Janice says, I'm addicted to orange salty with
seltzer that's water. My favorite, Janice. I want that so bad right now.
I've got the orange right here.
I love it with seltzer water.
Jared says, what was the coolest thing you saw when diving in Bonaire? Miriam, great job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
So far, the coolest thing that you've seen?
The Barracuda, probably.
We got to see a really cool shipwreck.
Yeah, but we've seen shipwrecks before.
Yeah, but this one was a former drug running ship.
Yeah, it was called the Helma Hooker.
Yep. And it was, they impounded it and then decided that they were going to turn it into an artificial reef. So they were getting it ready to scuttle, to sink it down in a good position, blah, blah, blah. And the pumps failed and it sunk ahead of time. Yeah. So it was sunk where it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, so it's close to the island.
And well, no, they wanted it roughly there, but I think they wanted it before the reef.
Oh.
Or something like that. But as it is, it's laying on its side.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was it was really cool. We also went down deeper than we were supposed to, but it was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was
fine.
It was really cool.
And Jared's proud of you.
Thank you.
Cindy is here. Cindy says, yeah, and you just float in the Great Salt Lake. The Great Salt Lake.
You would not want to die there.
It's
so shallow.
It's like, I'm trying to remember what the salt content is, but I think it's like 15 times saltier than the ocean. And in the ocean, you have to, I happen to have some right here. You have to weigh yourself down with lead weights. These are 2 pounds apiece.
Doesn't that sound smart? Like, I know, I'll strap weights to my body and then put myself in the water.
Yes.
See why I'm saying it's a fearful thing? Why do these things? I don't know. People are weird.
So
we are those people.
Because we're wearing wetsuits, which have little pockets of air, because we breathe air, because we have all this stuff, you have to weigh yourself down to counteract so you're neutrally buoyant. Way more blah, blah, blah. But we end up with Miriam is using 16 pounds? 14. Miriam's using 14 pounds of weight in addition to a giant plate of
That's
steel,
5 pounds.
and I'm using 12 pounds of weight.
How am I using more pounds than you?
I don't know.
Oh.
I've
I
got a
have
lot
been
of air in
sleeping
my
for a
head,
while.
so, you know. Rush wants a salty that's fresca flavor,
Oh, that sounds amazing.
meaning grapefruit. There you go. Jan says, I saw a barracuda in Key West. They come up to you face to face.
Yeah, this one didn't. It was far enough away. It was in front of the boat.
B Plaza says we should have a lot of fun. We deserve it.
Oh, thank you.
Exposing Darkness says, Miriam, you can do hard things. Way to go.
Right? I can. We can.
Bubble Stuff says, amazing water world dive stories. Marie says, I just noticed that only 3 flavors of salty have calcium: Cocoa Loco, Caramel Vibes, and Citrus Splash. I'm not sure where I thought all of them did. Yeah, it just depends on what's in the flavoring.
Oh, yes.
Because there's different compounds in the cocoa powder, and Citrus Splash is slightly different. The flavoring is slightly different from the other ones.
Mhm.
But there's not a lot of calcium, and that actually is a really good question. Why isn't there a lot of calcium? Because calcium is an
Yes.
electrolyte.
Because a lot of people do want calcium in their electrolytes.
Yeah. Why isn't there calcium in salty?
Sorry.
When we had Dr. Barry and Nisha and Nurse Cindy come to our meetup, one of the questions that we asked was, should people be supplementing with calcium? Really good question. And Dr. Barry said he doesn't know anyone who is eating he's never encountered someone who is eating a mostly meat diet, or as he would prefer, a proper human diet,
Yeah.
that has been deficient in calcium. He's never seen one. So he's like, so I don't, you might want to get your levels checked and stuff like that. It wouldn't be terrible to supplement, but he doesn't see it as something that most people eating a proper human diet would need to supplement.
Mhm.
So there you go. That's why it's not in salty. Also, when you add it to an electrolyte, it makes it difficult for it to dissolve.
Yeah, the mixing is harder.
So Jennifer says, lipedema makes me extremely buoyant. I can float vertically without moving. Speaking of lipedema, Miriam, did you want to talk
Maybe
about
that's why I need more weight than you.
Maybe. But you wanted to.
Oh, I know what you're
Hello,
talking about.
let me shovel this.
Okay, so when you do water exercises with lipedema, it helps because you're getting compression from the water.
Yeah.
Right? I came here wearing compression and sweated the first day.
Yep.
But then once we got in the water, I have not had to wear compression, and I have not been in pain the entire time. But we have been in the water most of the time.
Yeah.
So of course I can say that that's why.
Well, every 30 feet or 10 meters is one more atmosphere of pressure.
Yeah, it's so weird.
So-
Also, I'm in a wetsuit, which is like compression.
Yeah, it is like
because it's super, super
Yeah.
tight, hard to get on.
It's been really interesting though. You've remarked it about that multiple
Yeah.
times, that your lipedema has not been painful.
Yeah.
Since we started that.
So I'm in pain, but not the same kind of pain. My muscles hurt from using them, which is awesome pain.
Yeah.
And my lipedema pain is not there, so that's good.
Yep. Mimi is here. Excuse me. Wow. Janice says, yeah, calcium can kill you too much. So can potassium, actually.
Yeah.
I believe that's what they use in lethal injections.
Ew.
At least they used to.
Let's not talk about that.
Anyway, and Lynette likes your nails,
Yeah.
even though they are
Thank you. They are chipping.
they are chipping pretty
They're
bad.
dyed nails. Okay, so this red and with the yellow stripe in it is a dyed flag.
Yeah.
So that's why I did these nails.
So,
I also did my toenails too.
and granted, all this scuba stuff for some people might be kind of meh,
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
but I would challenge anyone who starts a keto way of eating and
Mhm.
finds themselves able to do stuff that they didn't used to be able to do. Find something that excites you.
Yeah.
And we all have something that we do that people look at us and go, what? Like today, we saw people who were, what's it called? Yeah, they were go-karts that had sails on them.
Those were really cool.
And they were
really
I
cool.
don't remember what it's called, but I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, somebody would have had to have started doing this, and then you have people who they're like, you know, that looks like fun.
It would be fun. Putting
So-
a sail on a car.
Jennifer says, yeah, being in water is more effective than compression garments. And boy, when you get to 60 feet down, so now
Yeah.
you're at 3 atmospheres of pressure. Well, 2 additional
Yeah.
atmospheres of pressure. It's that's good compression.
Yeah. It feels great.
Although your leg is full of water and meat.
Yes.
But Bubble Stuff says when a sport tuna turns into a medical therapeutics treatment.
Right?
When a sport turns in, not tuna. When a sport turns into a medical therapeutic. Yeah, we should totally write this off on our
I
text.
have to go scuba diving for some reason.
There are actually companies that sell like pressure chambers.
Mhm.
They don't go very high pressure
Yeah.
unless you actually have a doctor there monitoring you.
Mhm.
Incidentally, the place that we're at is called Buddy Dive Resort. It's all about scuba diving. It's kind of interesting because they have a place that you can go scuba diving right at the dock.
Yeah. And we've done that 3 times now.
Yeah, and
There's a little boat.
and there's just a big thing of cylinders of compressed air,
Mhm.
some with enriched air and some with regular air.
Yeah.
You can actually go deeper with the regular air, which I find interesting.
Which is funny.
But you can just walk over there, grab stuff, put on your gear, and go dive.
Because we paid to do that.
Yes.
Because it's part of our thing that's included.
Mhm.
So you can't just walk over there.
Yeah.
You have to be part of the buddy dive system.
But it's just interesting how this entire hotel is set up for that.
Yeah, it's so cool. Everything's so slick.
Yeah. Let's see. Janice's vibration plate excites me. My knee loves it.
Oh, it does? I'm so happy. Oh,
Amy says I got the Pro Compression Manager from Life Pro for my lymphedema.
Hey.
And Sneeze says I've gotten back to bowling after 20 years. When I stopped due to bad knees, replaced now, and arthritis back. 3 leagues in a week. Nice. Storm Chasing Gal wants to know how warm the ocean is. The coldest it's
82
been
degrees?
was 82 degrees, and that was at
So
about 80 feet below the surface, which is very
I
deep.
saw a spider crab today.
Oh, yeah.
I need to figure out what that fish is that we saw. We just called it a rockfish, but I don't know what it's actually called.
It is called a rockfish.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm Googling it after this.
Okay. We also saw, but Miriam didn't realize what they were, garden eels. They're these little
Oh,
eels,
they're so cute. They
and
look like
they poke up out of the
I thought it
sand,
was grass coming up out of the sand.
and they're just sitting there going, and they see their little beady
You guys
eyes,
kept showing me, and I'm like, "That's nice, dear."
and you get close to them, and they go,
Garden eels, and we saw spotted, not rays, spotted
eels.
eels.
They were really cool. Actually, I think the eels are some of the coolest.
I think there too.
Although, no, the coolest fish I saw, they were black, and they had these just electric blue
They were
spots,
so cool. They look like nightlights or something.
like iridescent
and
blue in the middle
the
of the
spots
field.
are like perfectly placed.
Like they were glowing.
They were really cool.
I did get quite a bit of footage of
What
those.
were those called?
I have no idea what they're
Blue
called.
spotted fish.
I've seen it, Bluey.
I'll eat that.
Bubble Stuff. This is a whole new YouTube channel, Dive Podcast. Needs to
Yeah,
have some-
sorry. We need to
Well,
check
and again, we're not trying to make this. You guys have to listen to the thing that excites us, but
it.
find something that excites you. Try out some new things, and you might be surprised at what excites you.
Yeah.
Storm Chasing Gal says, "Did you see dolphins?" No, but we
No.
did see a turtle. It was a tiny guy. It was only about that big.
We did see a turtle. It was
And
so
Mike
cute.
Mallet is here. That means
Mike.
it's officially time to go.
No. I want to say one more.
What did you want to say?
What? Okay, so it's really cool when you do keto, when you're fueled by fat and you can last longer between
That-
meals.
And you don't have to snack and
Because when, like you said, they brought the fruit out and everybody was just like ravenous.
Yeah.
Right? And we drank our SALTT and then we were fine because we're ravenous too, but you don't realize what you're
yeah, we were
launching
just
is
thirsty.
electrolytes in the water.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else is like, I need to eat food.
Well, it's kind of
carbs.
it's interesting to be, on a trip with just us, because our eating habits, when it's just Miriam and I, or people who are doing a keto diet, is very, very different than when we are with our kids or with other people who are eating a standard American diet, eating carbs, and they're like, it is so funny to deal with little kids at a theme park, and it gets time for lunch, and they're like,
they just shut down.
Yeah.
So it's just really fun. You don't really think about how keto does that for you, is that you can just keep going forever. So we'll go to the theme park with just us. We'll eat breakfast before we leave, and then we don't have to leave the theme park till dinner because we don't need to eat. So
Meg says, I just got back in the house, had some young men from church move some dirt. Yeah, it's fun playing in the dirt. One of my favorite Reddit threads of all time was these guys talking about, well, there were actually two. There was one talking about this cool stick that he found, and all the guys were like, hey, that's a cool stick. And then another one where this guy was relating a story of how he was starting to dig a hole with a shovel on the beach, and ended up with, like, I think it was 30 guys were helping dig this hole. And all of the girls were standing around going, what are you doing? It's like, we're digging a hole. It's like, why are you digging a hole? Because it's cool.
Because we can. So funny.
Anyway, Mike says, sorry, I'm late. Live in the 2 Ice says, I got my first return to Keto Chow order. Hubby's already borrowing it. Need chocolate malt in big bags.
Oh, yeah.
Marie says, I enjoy the sharing. And Cynthia says, I enjoy hearing about other people's passions. And isn't it funny when I like to ask people about what their passion is, what the thing is that really gets them excited, because we all have that thing that excites us, and it's fun to hear.
Yeah.
And even if you have someone who has difficulty interacting on a social level, I think someone actually had a shirt that says introvert, willing to talk about model trains, or something like that. Or they'll talk about books, or they'll talk about, whatever. We all have that thing. And it's fun to hear people's passions and how excited they get about stuff.
Keto.
Yeah, like keto. My passion is collecting hobbies, apparently. Les says, I love you guys doing what you enjoy. You work so hard, you deserve to play. And it's been interesting and kind of nice to not have a phone all day, because we can't.
It's such a break.
Anyway, Cynthia says, I love when people share what makes them happy and complete and fills your bucket. I may not dive, but I love to travel. And Cindy says, I'm looking forward to our live stream on the 10th.
Oh, thank you.
I believe that's you.
Is that me?
I think it's you.
Probably.
Jennifer says, who's minding the store? And by store, I mean the house. We have 6 children at home. We have 5 adults. Oh, no, we have 5. 5 children, 4 adults minding the house.
Yep. And all of the employees are minding the store.
Yes, they are.
They mind the store well when we're there.
They do a great job.
They are amazing.
Okay.
And Lynette is one of them.
Lynette is one of them.
Persons.
And 2 Ice says, do I spy a Stanley? What's your water cup? Yeah, that's Miriam's.
Yes.
So, and here's the funny thing. We have a laser engraver that we use to engrave stuff for SALTT. And I keep saying we can engrave whatever you want on there.
I like it.
Like, without stuff on it.
Just the way you are.
All right. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Time for bed?
Let's go to sleep.
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for this kind of weird live stream. I'm glad that it seems to have worked okay. Yeah. I don't know if you got weird stuttering or anything like that. It'll be interesting to see the replay, because the internet here is weird.
Oh, they asked what is in my water cup. It's salty.
Yeah, it's yep.
I think it's mono.
Okay, Cynthia says, my mom was so happy to meet you at the Florida meetup and could have talked to you for hours.
Oh, I love her.
Meg says, I have a full-time job. It gets in the way of my gardening hobby. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I feel that.
Well, we'll see you all probably next